I don't know. I'm trying to work. What are you doing? Right, okay, that's what I thought as well. Whoa! Hello, everybody. Sorry, that was Picasso. He's my cat. He missed me because I've been out all day. Doing my job. So now he wants some love. Anyway, none of you care about that. That's not what any of you are here for. We're here to talk about these Midlands Derby, aren't we? We're here to talk about that. And Derby getting a point against Nottingham Forest. I personally thought kind of stole the point. I know some of you thought that the use of the term awful to describe their performance was harsh. I don't think it was. I thought they were awful. You can't just take an okay 30 minutes in a game, an okay 30 minutes where they didn't test Samba at all, and use that as a benchmark to say they were fine. When after Forest scored and the lead up into half-time, and then the entire second half, pretty much until they scored, they were dreadful. Neither team settled in the first 5 or 10 either. Rooney said that he was happy with the first half an hour. Yeah, okay, fine. But he did also add the qualifier that they didn't create any chances in Test Samba. So it's not like it was great. Sorry, my cat wants to get out. Go on. Out. So it's not like it was. So it's not like it was great. It's not like it was swashbuckling. It's not like Derby were very good. There were far too many loose passes. Defensively, oh my God! Defensively, there was an incident where Matt Clark was dallying on the ball and nearly got it taken off his toe, and Roos had to come out and pick it away. Andre Wisdom was fine. Andre Wisdom was fine. Had a couple of hairy moments. Lee Buchanan, particularly in the second half, Lee really struggled with Anthony Knockaert. Man, did he struggle. Nathan Byrne, I thought in the first half was really, really good defending Freeman one-on-one. I thought he was really good. He got touch tight to him. But man, the balls that were going over the top, they were inaccurate. And that's not all on him. If he doesn't have options short, he's got to go long. And if he doesn't have the correct movement long, but some of them were on him. Even Colin, and we'll get to Colin. Even Colin in the first half was pretty poor, and that was not all on him either. He didn't have the service. Poor Jason Knight. I thought Jason had his worst game for Derby tonight. I thought he was dreadful. And that really hurts to say that, but I really thought he was poor. He's a box to box guy. We'll get to Max Bird. I've just seen that. We'll get to Max. For what it's worth, I thought Max was probably Derby's best midfielder tonight. Jason box to box has a lot of energy. There were two instances, I think both in the first half. One where Derby get a counter. It is a great counter attack. Nathan Byrne is racing. He has turned on the jets to get down the other side. It's a simple pass into him. In theory, in execution, it's a terrible pass by Jason. He has another one of those as well later on, where he's the one that gets inside the box. He gets inside, and the pass comes in, and it's towards Colin, and it's cut out. He is not a 10. He's a box-to-box midfielder being asked to essentially manufacture creativity, and he's going to struggle doing that. But also, he was leaving big gaps in the middle of midfield there, big gaps where there was kind of like this line. So Max Bird was playing as a deeper midfielder, particularly once the change had been made and Shinnie had gone off, and that basically made the midfield a lot lighter in that area. So there's sympathy to be had there, but you basically had this line of sort of the defenders and Bird, and then nothing, and then this line of the attackers. And when you're Bird and you're on the ball, and there's just space there with red shirts ready to attack it, and there's no midfield there, that's a problem. That's a real problem. Knight was chasing shadows a lot. He always does a lot of running, but tonight it felt like he was running to try and catch up to play, rather than to try and put pressure on the play and to try and, or to read the play and then get the ball away. He kind of looked a little bit lost out there. But look, even great players have bad games. So, and that's probably the first time I've really criticised Jason, because I think by and large, he's probably been Derby's best player, like consistently. In terms of consistency, he's been excellent. Tonight was a bad game, but Derby got a point, so you just put that game in the bin. Max Bird got a lot of grief tonight. I thought, and I thought rather unfairly. I thought defensively he was brilliant. Defensively, without him, Derby were in a lot more trouble than they than they were already in had he not been on the pitch. I thought he read the game pretty smartly. He got stuck in, and in terms of his passing, I actually kind of felt for him because I know he gets this reputation of being someone that plays a lot of sideways passes, and he does. That's something he has to learn. But also, he wasn't helped tonight. He wasn't helped tonight. There was so little movement, and it wasn't like, to be honest, it wasn't like those aren't the tightest lines that Derby have played against this season. There was space in those lines that Forest had in that bank of four. There was space in between those lines, but there was just nothing. There was nothing. You're looking at guys like Juzwiak to drop, move, just do something in that space. Nothing. Wycombe couldn't really do anything. And even in terms of so Buchanan was often pushing up, which meant Juzwiak drifted inside. But even when that was the case, where Juzwiak was the spare man, didn't really offer much in terms of his movement doing that. Juzwiak was poor. Juzwiak was another one that was really, really poor. But he wasn't the only one. Honestly, it would have been easier to name the good players tonight. Maybe Colin for the goal. I thought everyone was poor tonight. I thought everyone was pretty poor tonight. Bird did okay. He was probably the best midfielder. Colin got the goal. Yeah, I mean, I don't even like Keller comes on. He spills a Garner shot straight out to Murray, who if he's a hair quicker, probably nicks that over Keller. Clark had an off night. Shinnie had a really off night. Gregory did come on and have a good cameo. Yeah, it was one of those. Someone has mentioned it in here already. It was like April's game. Derby were pretty awful and got out of there with a point. We are going to talk about the goal now, though. Fucking hell. Oh, my fucking life. So I was literally about to type that Derby have given Forest the gun and got them like this, and Forest just refused to pull the trigger because moments before Colin Kazim-Richards hits that ball, Forest have a free header up the other end and it's safely into the hands of Roos. And at that point, I kind of thought Derby are going to get something here because Forest just simply refused to let them die. And then the minute I looked up, the ball is deflected to Kazim-Richards, and like where we are at the press box, we were like right behind him as he was shaping up to hit that, and you just saw him fucking tonk this ball. That was maybe more impressive than the one he gets against Borough, just because of like the weird way it falls to him and the way it's like it bounces and then he just goes right bang and then you think fuck me and it's just in the net. So yeah, that was a sensational goal. He's got himself a new contract, a well earned new contract. My piece off the back of this game is about Colin. I think. A lot of us in this chat, a lot of us watching, a lot of us on Twitter have had to. Well, I hope we like that humble pie really sweet because there's a lot of people that have had to eat it. I like to think I'm a great believer in you always judge any player in any sport. In any sport, I'm the same in the NFL with the Packers. Sometimes you get underwhelming signings and think, well, let's see what they do. You don't know what they do. Kazim-Richards has 7 goals now. That is his best return since I think it was at Feyenoord. 8 years ago maybe, when he got 11 in 22 games, which isn't a bad return. If he ends the season with 12, then that's equal to what Chris Martin got last season, and he's at a fraction of Chris Martin's price. Now, yes, he's not long term, and at 35, you wonder if next season is his last season. But he was a signing that people were like, say, psych, surely he's not come into play instead of Chris Martin. Surely that's the bottom of the barrel. Surely that's the sign that financially we're not in good shape. And look, maybe all those things initially were true. Maybe they all were true. But Colin has made the most of his situation. He is well in form right now, and he's proved a lot of people wrong. He's proved a lot of people right as well, because Derby felt pretty good bringing him in. When I did a piece about him just after he joined, internally, Derby were always kind of fine with the underwhelming reaction because they felt like he was going to come in at a fraction of the price and basically do what Chris Martin had done anyway. And you know what? He's come in at a fraction of the price and he's done what Chris Martin would do anyway. So that's fine. That is absolutely fine. He has proved a lot of people wrong, and that's pretty awesome. He's earned his contract on merit, and that is brilliant. Let's have a look at the chat, shall we? Mad that you haven't been so. Yeah, that is actually Kyle Reno. Yeah, that is kind of upsetting. Actually, I've been to 2 East Midlands derbies at Pride Park, and none of you have been there because that's shit. That's really, really shit. And the way those games have gone as well. So Chris Martin getting the equaliser in the 97th minute, Colin getting that one tonight. Like they'd have been like fucking roof off the place moments. But yeah, that's rubbish. But it's one of them. I'd take you guys being back indoors for Barrow at home. I wouldn't care. Honestly, it's so bad. It's so bad because you're not there. So that all sucks. And don't get me wrong, I understand how lucky I am that I can go. So I know how that can be as well. Free Picasso the cat. He's free. He's out. He's gone. Yeah, the quality, Dad Gamer, the quality from the fullbacks was a bit off tonight. I thought Buchanan defensively did okay in the first half. Knockout, man, he pulled him from pillar to post in the second half. He really needed help out there. In the first half, I thought defensively, Waghorn and Byrne actually did really well. Defensively, I thought they did really, really well. They shut everything that Forest were trying to do down that side. I thought they did really well. But going forward, yeah, nothing. Going forward, they had nothing. That was a problem, particularly as Rooney has said in the past, that the fullbacks, particularly Derby's fullbacks, as a unit, they're probably Derby's best unit. You look at fullbacks, wingers, centre-backs, you talk about them as pure units. They're probably Derby's best. And they're probably, as wide outlets go, they're probably better wide outlets than the wingers, because right now the wingers are being played as inverted wingers. And checking inside, cutting inside and drifting infield and making things a lot narrower so the guys can go out on the outside. If you are not getting that kind of production, if you are not able to stretch the pitch vertically like that, you are going to struggle because everything just gets squeezed and Forest were happy with that. They were happy with that. Colin gets isolated. You're then forced to kick long balls up to Waghorn down the channels and into Hughes-Viac down the channels. And Forest lived with that. And they was kind of like, okay, fine. The final 10 minutes, you see what happens when the game stretches open and you are a lot more expansive. You are able to get a lot more vertical up the sides. And Derby could have won that game. They also could have lost it, but they could have won that game. You see what happens when they're able to do that. But yeah, it was another off night. Also follows this pattern of Derby really struggling to break down compact teams. Now, I didn't think Forest were as compact as other teams Derby have faced, but they still were pretty compact in there. In terms of the rigid banks and how they then tried to break once they got the ball. But it follows another trend of them struggling against those types of teams. But look, they've not lost. And as Rooney pointed out very correctly, Derby were behind and actually came back to get a point. And that's the first time they've done that in 15 games. Every time they've gone behind, they've lost. Every time they've gone behind this season, they've lost. They didn't do that this time. That's a positive. If you take nothing else from the game, that's a positive to take from it. Which he'd highlighted, and I was made aware of it when that was at like 13 games. It was like, yeah, man, that kind of sucks. But it's a grittiness. You look at the Wickham game where they win with the last kick of the game. You look at this game where they come from behind and get a point when they really weren't at their best. Yeah, you take that. I love you too, Lewis. Love you. Goal of the season? Maybe. I think it's Bristol City. The Middlesbrough one might be better. It is the Middlesbrough one, isn't it? Yeah, it is, because that was the goal that made it 2-0. I think that one might be better just because the angle's a bit more acute. And, that really is an absolute fuck you strike. Once he hit that, it stayed hit. It wasn't being unhit. Nothing was ever saving it. Some players looking tired, and I'll tie this in, Pete, with a couple of other folks down here. With Ridley saying Juzwiak looks like he's gone off the boil. I think Juzwiak is one of the players that looks tired. He looks like he needs a little bit of a rest. He was bad tonight. I thought that was as poor as Juzwiak has been since probably the Sheffield Wednesday game away, in which he was dreadful. He really did struggle. He struggled to find any kind of space, any kind of rhythm. Pete, regular watchers of this show know what I'm going to say. I do not like him playing as an inverted winger. I like him on the right. Just play him as an out-and-out winger. I don't like him out there on the left. I think it imbalances the team because I think he drifts. He drifts when you play him as an inverted guy. He drifts in far too often, and he makes the play far too narrow for Derby. Whereas if you stick him on the right and just tell him to stay on the right, because that is it's his stronger foot, so naturally he wants to go towards that side. He can get chalk on his boots and he can stretch the pitch, and he's better at that. I do not like him out there on the left. I accept that, Sean, that he probably is better on the left than Waggy. But to me, find a better solution. Just find a better solution. He does look like one of the players that he's tired, though. I wouldn't be surprised to see him dipped out of the team for a little bit in favour of Roberts, although Roberts against Watford didn't cover himself in glory, and that's why he went back to the bench. But yeah, there were a few guys. Jason was another one that I thought looked a little bit tired, which might be a reason, if he is tired, might be a reason why he had a poor game tonight. Shinnie was another one that looked a little bit leggy. Look, the team have got through a hell of a lot of games because this is the Championship. Hell of a lot of games recently, and they've got a hell of a lot more games coming up. They've now got 3 away games on the spin, starting with Cardiff and then Coventry after that, and then there's the Barnsley game, I think, that's sandwiched in there as well. So squad management and squad rotation is going to be used. It's a good thing they got 5 players in the deadline window. I would expect to see Beningame get some minutes in midfield for maybe Shinnie, maybe Knight. I would expect Roberts to come in. Sibley, I thought, did okay once he came in, but we know the problem that we have there is Rooney doesn't like to play him out wide. And Rooney's made that clear that he doesn't like to play him out wide. And he's also made it clear that recently he's been dropped because he's not been playing well enough. He likes him. He's a good, there's nothing sort of untoward there. It's not. It's as simple as the same reason that Rooney mentioned why Kazim-Richards and Christian Bielik got dropped for his first game. Train better and play better. And they responded well and got in the team. We'll see if Sibley can do the same. Bird was another example of that. He's recently come back in the team. So yeah, I'd like to see Sibley get another chance in there. I thought he did okay tonight. But yeah, I think there are some tired bodies out there. That's natural when we're in the final third of the season now, so there's going to be a few tired legs out there. So right, we're going to wrap this up, guys, because it's nearly 11 o'clock, but it's Friday. So I'm away for the weekend. Keep your eyes and ears and whatever else you can keep open. Keep those things open for my Colin Kazim-Richards piece that is going to drop Sunday, maybe Monday. I'll let you know. All of you enjoy your weekend. If you're a key worker, if you're working out there over the weekend, thank you so much, and stay safe and mask up. And I hope some of you have been able to get your jabs and injections and stuff like that. And then on June or May or June or wherever it is, we're going to have a big sloppy kiss and get smashed. So listen, all enjoy your weekend. All of you take care of you and yours, and I'll see you on Monday. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.